Hello, I see that we have one viewer. My name is Pete Burakowski. I'm the Director of Marketing for 43North. And you'll notice along the side that there's a place where you can post questions. So please feel free to ask away, and I'll answer anything you want to know. Hi, this is Peter Burakowski with 43North. There's a column on the side for posting questions. Feel free to ask away and tell you everything you need to know about our competition. So we have a second viewer now. Again, if you go into the group chat section of Google Hangouts, you'll see a section where you can post questions. Please do post away, and I'll be happy to answer them as they come up. Well, once again, anyone that has questions, please post them in the group chat section of Google Hangouts, and I'll answer away. In the meantime, I'll get rolling with a few of the basics of the competition and what we're all about. So 43North is the world's largest business idea competition. We're giving away $5 million in cash. We have a top prize of $1 million. We have 6 $500,000 awards, 4 $250,000 awards. And we're open to entrants from anywhere around the world, ages 18 and over, in just about any industry, with a few exceptions like bricks and mortar retail and hospitality. And last year we had winners come from pretty far away. We had folks from Taiwan and Miami and Boston, New York, Toronto. And the way that the competition works is that you do a first round application that is due by June 24th. And if you go to our website, which is 43north.org, you can fill that out, and it takes about maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes at most to crank through if you've got your business idea in decent shape. And it's free to apply. And the first round application process, as I mentioned, is open until June 24th. And then we'll go through a first round judging. If you make it into our semifinal round, we'll send you a second round application, which is considerably longer, and then ask you to take part in something similar to this, like a Google Hangout with a few of our judges. And teams that make it through that make it to our finals. And so we have 11 finalists and who come to Buffalo, and each of those are guaranteed to win one of our prizes. And they go on stage at Shays Performing Arts Center in October and pitch away in front of a team of judges for a shot at that $1 million top prize, or to get one of our 6 $500,000 awards or 4 $250,000 awards. Just a reminder, if you've got questions, please go to the group chat section and post a question there, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. While we're waiting for more questions, I'll tell you a little bit more about 43 North. So as I mentioned at the front end of the Hangout, 43 North is the world's largest business idea competition. And we are part of something called the Buffalo Billion, which is an initiative set forth by New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. And in total, it's $1 billion in new investment in Buffalo, New York's economy. And 42 North's role in that is to help drive attention to our entrepreneurial ecosystem and attract some of the best entrepreneurs from around the world to enter the competition. So we launched last year to have our first application period, and we saw applications come from all around the world last year. And it went through and our full judging process. And in October of 2014, we had our first finals. And since the beginning of this calendar year, we've had our first class of winners operating out of our incubator space, which is located in downtown Buffalo on the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus. And so we have 11 43 North winning teams that locate in our space here. And over the course of the year, we provide incubator space and mentorship in addition to the cash awards. And teams are also eligible to take part in something called Startup New York, which is a program that allows you to operate tax-free in New York State for your business and any employees' personal income taxes for up to 10 years. I see we've got a couple other viewers that have hopped on board. As I mentioned before, if you have questions, please post them in the group chat section, and I'd be happy to answer any questions someone might have. While we're waiting for that, I'll answer a few of the more common questions that come across our plate from time to time. First, people oftentimes ask, if I become one of your winners, are there any conditions of that? And so if you're a winner, as I mentioned before, you get a cash prize, and that could be one of our 4 $250,000 awards, 6 $500,000 awards, or a grand prize $1 million award. You also receive incubator space, mentorship, and opportunity to take part in Startup New York, the tax-free program for 10 years in New York State. The terms of the agreement say that our winning teams will provide 5% equity in their companies to 42 North in the form of a warrant, and also agreed to locate in Buffalo for a minimum of 12 months. And over the course of that time, we work really closely with our winning teams to help them have the best possible experience they can have here in Buffalo, both professionally, pairing them up with as many resources as we possibly can, but also personally and socially to find out what our winning team members are really into and interested in, and provide really awesome experiences for our teams to explore Buffalo and feel at home here. In a second here, I'm going to post a link to where to apply to the competition. As I mentioned before on the Hangout, this really is a really quick first round application. It's designed to be a high level summary of your business, and so if you've been doing some work on your business, this could take you as little as 20 minutes to complete, and allow you to get your hat in the ring for a shot at $1 million. I'm going to post a link in a second here to where to go to apply. Okay, the link is up. I'm going to go through a few other common questions that people have while we're waiting for anyone that might have specifics. So let me pull this up real quick. So one of the things that comes up pretty frequently is a question of what criteria judges will use to score an application. And we have 6 kind of key criteria. The first would be the overall strength of a team. Next would be that team's knowledge of the market that they're getting into. Next would be a rating of the viability of the product or the idea or the technology. A scoring of the product relative to the target market. Scoring of a team's revenue and financing plans, and then just kind of an overall assessment of this business opportunity. I encourage anyone who's thinking about applying or have started but wants a little bit more information to go to our website, which is 43north.org. And if you scroll to the bottom, there's a link to the FAQ section. And when you're there, it really knocks off a lot of the stuff that you might want to know about, ranging from equity questions to where we get our funding and requirements of relocating to Buffalo. Again, if you have questions, please enter them in the comment section of this Google Hangout, and I'd be happy to reel off answers to anyone that wants to have some more information on a specific topic. One thing that comes up from time to time is folks ask, what makes a really good applicant, one that has the potential to rise to the top and be one of our 11 finalists. And as mentioned before, there's certain criteria of what's ineligible, and most industries are open to apply, and you can apply from anywhere around the world. The only exceptions on the industry side, for the most part, would be bricks and mortar retail, hospitality, and things related to real estate and gambling and gaming in a gambling sense. But what makes a really good application would be, nailing the 6 things I mentioned before. They're part of the judging criteria. But on top of that, having a truly scalable business idea. We're looking for companies that have the capability of growing aggressively and really showing great returns for the founders, and also for folks like us who become investors in the company, and for our community. So if you've got a business idea that really can skyrocket, we want to know about it. One other thing that I would mention is that if you have been considering applying to 43North, but you've been thinking about holding off until the last minute, I'd encourage you to start your application now instead of cutting it down to the wire for a June 24th deadline. The reason for that is that you can go in, start an application, save it. We have, even complete your application and click the submit button to formally enter it in the competition. And then anytime before June 24th, make edits to the application anyways by just unsubmitting your application before June 24th, making new changes and resubmitting it. So there really is no risk to banging out as much as you can right now. And, you know, it may be an opportunity to kind of get your thoughts down in an application form, get a sense of where you want to go, take some time, a couple of days off from it, come back to it with fresh eyes and see what you want to tweak, rather than cutting everything down to the wire and just try to cram it in right before a deadline. So I really strongly encourage folks to, you know, get moving now. You really only have a little bit less than 3 weeks left, and that time's going to go fast. So I encourage everyone to enter the competition. And the other thing that's really important is that if you're thinking about applying, that when you get into the application, that you're going to want to when you get into the application, you're going to want to make sure that you clicked submit at the end. If you don't, your application will not be eligible to be judged, and you'll be disqualified. So go through by June 24th, fill out all the fields to the best of your ability, and then make sure you click submit at the time that you feel that you're ready to be done with it, and get that done before 11:59 p.m. Eastern on June 24th. See, we still have a couple folks on as viewers, and if you'd like to ask questions, post it in the chat section. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. I see we just picked up another viewer as well. Again, if you've just hopped on board, my name is Peter Burakowski. I'm the Director of Marketing for 43North, and I just gave a bunch of the background of what the competition is, but happy to repeat it for anyone who just joined. And I'm also happy to answer specific questions you might have, and walk you through any challenges. So to do that, please enter your comment in the chat section, and let me know what you want to know more about. While we are waiting for other folks to chime in with some comments, what I like to do is see if I can do a little bit of a screen share here to walk you through a couple of things that might be useful to you on our site. So let me see if I can set this up for you. Okay, so right now I'm going to share this screen, and this is our website. So I'm taking you to the home page. this is where you get started. So this is 43north.org. A couple things. It's pretty easy to find out where you apply. You click right in the middle, and you'll first be asked to register here and to go through and enter some basic information about yourself. After you do so, you'll be sent a link to verify your email address, which is really important. You got to do that to make sure that you can get into your application. And then once you go through that, it'll take about 20 minutes or so to fill out the application that's inside. Going back here. Here you have a few things that will be useful to you. If you click on the applications details section, it's going to walk you through some of the basics that you might want to know. And so a little bit of information about the prizes and the other benefits. It boils down some of the basics of the terms and has a link to our FAQ, terms and conditions, links to information about who we're backed by. Again, we get our support from New York State via the Buffalo Billion program. And also support from the New York Power Authority. So I encourage you to check that out. You can also get a little bit of information about last year's class of winners. So if you go through here, you'll see a little blurb about each of our 11 winning teams and the ability to link through and learn more about them. You also see this video here. It's called Move-In Day. And this is just kind of a summary of what it was like for these teams to relocate to Buffalo earlier this year. So right now I see we have one viewer. And again, if you have any questions, please pose them to me. Folks that are just hopping on, again, if you have any questions, let me know. My name is Peter Burakowski. I'm the Director of Marketing for 43North. And I'm going to stay on chat here for probably about another 10 minutes or so. So if you have any questions that I haven't covered yet, please point them my way. I'd love to be of help to you. And the best way to do that is just to put a message in the chat area. Another thing that I'd like to draw people's attention to is I'll do another screen share here, is some information about where you can find us when we're out on the road. So I'm going to pull this up real quick. So if you go to our website and go to our homepage at 43north.org and scroll down here a little bit, you'll get to this section on our roadshow. You can see the cities that we've already visited and where we're going to be going soon. And here's just a little bit of summary of that. And so I hope that you guys will stop by and see us when we visit these different markets along the way. We've been trying to make a point of covering big swaths of North America to talk in person with folks and answer any questions they might have. So please do check us out. Again, to our Roadshow, you can go to our homepage, scroll down, and click over here. And while we're waiting for anyone else who might have a question to pose, I'd like to just tell you a little bit about the incubator space that 43North works out of. So we opened a brand new space in the early part of this calendar year. and it's in downtown Buffalo on the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus in a building called the Beecher Innovation Center. And it's a really exciting place for us to be. We have a brand new space that we built out custom to our needs, and in a facility that used to be a windshield wiper manufacturing center. And so we took this former industrial space and turned it into a very cool open concept incubator space for 43North. And we share this space with Z80 Labs, another incubator based here in Buffalo. And we neighbor something called DIG, the Design Innovation Garage, which is a co-working space that for folks that are in the earliest stages of development of their ideas. And so we have a nice cluster of innovation and entrepreneurship geographically around us. And our winning 43North teams, in addition to the cash prizes of top prize $1 million, 6 $500,000 awards, and 4 $250,000 awards, and in addition to mentorship and the Startup New York program, also receive free incubator space here at the 43North Incubator in Buffalo for 12 months. And again, if you have any questions, please do post them in the chat section of this Google Hangout. And if no one does have questions, I'll wait about another 5 minutes before we wrap up the call. Just want to tell you a little bit more about Buffalo, New York, for anyone who's hanging out right now and might not know much about our market. So Buffalo is located in New York State, and we're on the western end of the state. We're New York State's second largest city, of course, with the largest one being New York City. And Buffalo, in the last several years, has been undergoing quite the resurgence. So that takes many forms. So, of course, for us, we're seeing it within our entrepreneurial ecosystem. And then we're also seeing it in the quality of life that surrounds us. So we have neighborhoods that have been really growing and evolving and turning into very hip spaces of late. So, for example, there's the Larkinville district that was a former kind of stalled out neighborhood with large old warehouse buildings that have been converted into a combination of residential and commercial and really hip, quirky, colorful urban spaces. We have the Elmwood Village neighborhood, which is where you see a lot of young families, young professionals, really great cafes and shops. You have the Allentown district that is where you'll find small art galleries, music clubs, bars, and restaurants. Yeah, you see the Museum District and the Frederick Law Olmsted parks of Buffalo that is just a gorgeous, walkable, culture-filled district, including, in particular, the Albright Knox Art Gallery, which has one of the world's best collections of modern and contemporary art. You see a reinvestment in our architectural heritage. So we have some of North America's finest turn of the 20th century architecture by big names like Frank Lloyd Wright, Louis Sullivan, H.H. Richardson, Leonardo Saarinen, and we've been, pouring tens of millions of dollars into the restoration of these buildings over the course of the last several years. We also see the rebirth of Buffalo's waterfront after a generation of stagnation, and into the new Canal Side waterfront district, which is filled with concerts and food and family events all throughout the year. As I mentioned before, I really encourage anyone who's considering applying to 43North to submit your application by June 24th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. I strongly encourage you to start your application well before that and not cut it down to the wire, so you can really give it the time and energy it deserves. And this is really a fantastic opportunity for any startup or entrepreneur anywhere around the world. And we like to think of this as the democratization of capital. So if you've got that fantastic business idea and you've got the team that you already have or are on the verge of building around it, we want to know about it. And we would love to have you submit your application for this year's 43North competition. So if you have any questions, please do keep in touch. I'm going to, in the chat section, post the email address to send to you if you have specific questions that you didn't want to ask today or something that comes up later. And I'm also going to post the link to our FAQ section that can really answer many of the questions that you might have about applying to the competition. So I hope that folks will get all the information you need, but if you have any specific questions, don't hesitate to reach out to our team and let us know. So with that said, thank you for everyone who's been on today's Google Hangout, and hope to see you enter the competition this time around. All the best. Bye-bye.